Hi everybody, my name is Madeline. I run the blog Dawn V Farms where I talk about homemade recipes, natural home remedies, everyday farm life, and motherhood. And today I'm going to be talking about how to get more done as a stay-at-home mom. If you resonate with anything that I just mentioned, then please feel free to subscribe to this channel and also follow my blog at dawnvfarms.com where I post weekly. Let's dive into this subject of how to get more done as a stay-at-home mom. I have been a stay-at-home mom for 7 years. I have 3 kids ranging between 7 and 18 months, and we homeschool. My husband and I have also been self-employed since 2019. We currently run 3 businesses. I'm closing out one of them. We were fully self-employed resellers for multiple years, and I'm kind of closing that chapter of our lives just because we have switched what we're doing now, and so I have been working on that. But then we also run a handyman business where my husband is the handyman on the projects daily, and I run the business side of that as far as like taking calls and appointments and things like that. And then we have the farm business as well, where we run a roadside farm stand where I make the products for that. And I also have started a blog this year, which is kind of an extension of that business, but also kind of a creative outlet for me because I love natural home remedies and I love recipes and all of those different things. And I've always wanted a way to document those things. And this year, I don't know why, I kind of had the motivation to finally get started with the blog and YouTube so that I can, if anything, just keep track of what I'm doing, because we do so much around here that I tend to forget what we've done over the years. And so I love being able to write on the blog and also share those things with you. And my most recent blog post has been how to get more done as a stay-at-home mom. Because we've done so much with our businesses, I cook primarily from scratch, 95% of our meals are at home, and I homeschool our 3 kids. I do feel a little bit of an authority on this because I have had to figure out how to maximize my time and to not go insane. I naturally am a very driven and self-motivated person. I just always have been, but it also is a passion of mine to be able to enjoy my life with my children and do the other stuff that I enjoy. And so figuring out how to maximize my time has been a huge passion of mine over the last 7 years of being a mom. And so I'm just going to share some of those tips with you today and the things that I actually do to be able to get all of this stuff done. So the first thing is that time management is key for a stay-at-home mom. I know that as stay-at-home moms, we tend to feel like we can just kind of go with the flow, but when we go with the flow, at least when I go with the flow, I get nothing done. And so time management is really the key to being able to get more done as a stay-at-home mom. And I'm going to go through these time management tips with you. And the great thing is, if you identify with any of these tips and any of the problems that I'm going to talk about, that's actually awesome, because that means you have time in your life that you can manage better. And when you have that time to manage better, you're going to discover that you suddenly do have free time in your day when you thought you absolutely did not. If you are completely maximizing your time, then you're not going to be able to have any more time. We all have the same 24 hours in a day, and so that's actually good. If any of these tips help you, you will have more time. So the first problem is not having defined goals. And this is a huge thing, because if we don't have defined goals, then we're never working towards a single purpose. And whether it's daily goals or weekly goals or monthly goals, I generally have 5-year goals, 1-year goals, monthly goals, weekly goals, and daily goals. That's 6 different kinds of goals that I have. And when I'm looking at this overarching theme of this is what I'm hoping to accomplish in the next 5 years, I know how to break down my years, I know how to break down my months, I know how to break down my weeks, so that I can actually accomplish these things. It's like you can actually see a linear progress toward that you're making every day. And it's not just I feel like I'm getting nothing done. Well, you always will feel like there's not enough time to get things done if you don't have a goal of what you're trying to get done. Because yes, there are always things to do with kids. And so that's the first thing, is that you need to be able to have goals. So the solution to that, like I was saying, is to set goals. And to just sit down with a notebook. You don't have to do the 5-year goals if that's too big and you're just like, I can hardly get past next week. Really try to think about the 1-year goals, and if you can't even do that, think about 1-month goals. And these goals can be anything, whether it's a fitness goal, whether it's, like any kind of goal, like a goal of what you're teaching your kids, a goal of how many meals you make at home. Like, just think about any type of goals that would enhance how you are currently living, and try to create those goals so that you have something you're working towards, and something that when you accomplish those things, you actually feel accomplished. The second thing is no focus, which goes hand in hand with no goals. Like, when there's no goals, there's also no focus, because you have nothing to focus on. So if you're just going about your day with nothing in mind, nothing you're trying to do except keep your kids alive, which that could be a goal, but if you write it down as a goal, then you'll feel accomplished that you did it, not overwhelmed at the end of the day, just like, I barely kept them alive. If that's all your goal was, then great. At least you accomplished that. And so having these goals helps you to be focused on what you're trying to do and make a way forward. I am looking at my blog that I wrote just as reference, that's why I'm looking down. Okay, so then you need to make a list. And making a list is important, because if you don't, at least if I don't, then I get so distracted, because I'm just that kind of person where if I don't make a list, I'll end up doing a ton of stuff that I didn't even ever think I would be doing. Actually, I did that today. I wrote a list and I wanted to do all these things, and then I ended up cleaning out my freezer, which needed to be done, but it wasn't on my list, so I need to even listen to myself here and follow my own list. But if you have a list made, then during the day you can just check those boxes and feel the small bits of accomplishment every time you reach one of those goals, and then you can really stay on track much better. You know what you're going to be doing during the day. Is no routine, which is something that is honestly so hard for me, and it's something that I constantly have to be improving, which this is hard. We have seasons of motherhood, so early pregnancy when I'm sick, I drop all of it. Late pregnancy when I'm super pregnant, drop all of it. That early newborn phase, drop all of it. And then there's constant toddler sleeping schedules and all these different things. And so it can be really hard as stay-at-home moms to maintain a steady routine. And don't be hard on yourself if you can't. But if you're at a point when you can create some kind of a routine within your household, then you will have so much more direction during the day and you will get so much more accomplished. A routine and a schedule are very different to me. I don't schedule my day out hour by hour, this is what we're doing, but I do set up a routine that we have every morning. And our morning routine is I wake up, make my tea, write my blog stuff, then I start making breakfast, the kids wake up, we do our Bible study when we're eating breakfast, then we start our schoolwork after that. After that, we're doing chores, and then we're doing lunchtime. So they know what to expect, I know what to expect every weekday morning, and we end up getting so much more done. Usually we're done with all of that by 11 o'clock, and then we can do whatever we want the rest of the day. When I don't do that morning routine, we end up taking all day just to get our school done. Even though my kids are really young, it just takes a long time. So I don't know if you can see, but I'm going to try to lay out for you. Once you have these goals, and then you can make these lists based off of these goals, and then you can build your routine off of this list. You see how these are building on each other? And so if you had no direction and then you implement these things, suddenly you're going to realize how much your productivity goes up, because you now have all of this infrastructure in place that allows you to maximize the time you spend during the day and to have some sort of direction. The next thing is going to be over-consuming media, which we all do. Even I do it. I set hard boundaries for myself, especially with writing the blog and with YouTube. It's so easy to get caught up in the algorithm of things and what other people are doing and what you're supposed to be posting, and there's just so much to that. And so I have very specific times during the day. After 7 o'clock, once I've done all of my online social media blog work, 7 o'clock my phone goes away. and I do not pull my phone back out until after lunchtime. So this is like a 5-hour span of the day. I do have my ringtone on in case somebody calls me, but I'm like not looking at my phone. I'm not distracted at all. And then even in the afternoon, like I do a midday check on if people have texted me or, you know, things like that. But after that, it goes away again until after dinner, so that most of my day, I don't even have my phone in my mind. Just because it is so easy to have this habit of picking it up, and not even realizing it. And that is like the last thing I want for my kids to see is, and to remember, is like their mom was looking at her phone all the time. So when I set these hard boundaries, then I'm not wasting time on social media. The next thing is lack of accountability, which can be super hard, especially for stay-at-home moms. We don't have bosses, we don't have grades, we don't have promotions, we don't have any of these things that create this built-in accountability. We have like, I have me, myself, and I. Unless I involve my husband with things, I'm home with my kids. Whatever I do that day is literally up to me. And so on things that I feel like I need help with, like multiple times I've made fitness accountability group chats with my friends on Messenger, where I just say, hey, who's interested in joining me in this accountability chat? And then every day we kind of say, hey, who's working out today? What did you do? And share videos and tips and different things like that. And that helps me get back on track when that falls to the back burner. So if you can think of different areas of your life where you would like more accountability, it could be social media, it could be somebody to write goals with, just bringing in somebody else to support you in this. I have never been turned away when I've asked somebody for help, when I've been like, hey, would you like to help me with this, or would you like to do this with me? I think if anything, it motivates other people to do that as well, because then you're trying to improve yourself. And so yeah, don't be afraid to try to find accountability partners, whether it's your husband, friends, siblings, online strangers in a group chat, whatever it takes. Just try to define these areas of your life that you would like to improve, and then see like if an accountability partner would benefit you in that area. The next thing is not saying no, which is actually the last thing on this, but just because it's last but not least, because if you fill your schedule up too much and you don't say no to things, then you're not going to get enough done that you want to. I mean, there's so many opportunities as stay-at-home moms to say yes to things, especially homeschooling stay-at-home moms. I mean, we could go on a play date, we could go to the library, we could go to the children's museum, even things like daily cleaning. Like, I only clean my bedroom certain days, I only clean the bathroom certain days, because if I'm trying to do everything all the time, I'm never getting everything done. This is why having goals in place and lists in place and routines in place is so important. And so it's okay to say no, even to yourself, even if it's like, is this too much of a commitment, even if it's gonna be fun, or does this need to be cleaned right this second? So by creating these lists and your goals, you have a more defined structure to your life, and then you can like more easily define whether you should say yes or no to something, whether something is a healthy choice or not, whether you're setting healthy boundaries with yourself or with friends, whether you're just filling your schedule up too much. If you're too busy, then you're not going to be able to get things done. And so if you can learn to tell yourself no on some of these things and really evaluate the choices you make, it can actually create so much room in your life because you're not overcommitted to things. I hope that this video was helpful for you. I hope that it made sense. And if you enjoyed watching this and found it helpful, will you please hit the like button? And again, if you're interested in anything homestead, recipes, homemade remedies, farm life, or motherhood, please like or subscribe.